Airrack recently hosted his second pizza party in celebration of him hitting 10 million subscribers. I had the bright idea to spend over $500 to fly down, stay in an Airbnb, just to give you guys an in-depth look of what really happened at Airrack's pizza party. Now, before I went down, I knew I needed to ask myself three very important questions that I needed to solve. How many people were going to show up? What would we have to do to break the Guinness World Record for the largest pizza party? And most importantly, how good would Young Gravy's performance be? So it's important to mention that since I was one of an unknown amount of people that were flying down to LA for Airrack's pizza party, Airrack had actually put out a skip the line ticket, which meant basically I was guaranteed a spot just in case if the theater filled up. Now, it's not important now, but I just want you to keep that in mind. The day had come. It was finally January 18th, the day that we've all been waiting for, Airrack's pizza party. Now, the event is supposed to start at 6 p.m., but since it's a big YouTuber event and you never know who's going to show up, I planned on arriving at SoFi Stadium at 3 p.m. However, when I took my Uber there, they decided to drop me off on the other side of the complete stadium located here. They took me to the complete opposite side of the arena. Now, I know it's not the Uber's fault, but it did take about another extra 10 minutes to walk from one side of the stadium all the way to the other. Okay, the time is, it is 3:08. The doors open at 5, so I'm assuming in an hour, there's gonna be 5 extra people. That's my guess. We'll see if that's true. Little did I know, when 4 p.m. hit, the crowd would have looked a little bit like this. It's now 4 p.m. The line has quadrupled. Now, with everything going on, I had no idea when and what was going to happen. But there was one thing that I was sure of, and that was that the event was going to start at 5 p.m. And to me, this basically meant that I would scan my ticket and be let into the building. But that did not quite go to plan. Okay, it is not 5, but they are counting down up there right now. I'm so confused, but hey. I don't know, what are they counting down for? Do we know? It is 4:40. The line is pretty big. I would assume that this line is probably the size of a standard Disney line. It's pretty big. There's a lot of people here. We're about to head in. They just opened up the gates. Okay, we're walking in now. People are funneling in. Oh, sorry.
How many?
Just one. So yeah, they counted down, cleared the gates, let us scan our tickets, just for us to wait in another line for 25 minutes. At least it was a surprise appearance of Airrack. Now, you might be asking yourself, Jared, why might you not be excited to see somebody who you've been watching for the past 2 years of your life? Great question. It's actually not the first time that I've seen Eric, and I've actually even met Eric. Plus, I've actually done a YouTube thumbnail for Eric. This one. His streamy thumbnail. Now, regardless of everything happening, things were progressing. We had about another 10-minute wait until we were actually allowed into the YouTube theater and were allowed to go find our seats. I don't know what's going on because we already entered in, but now we're entering in again. So there's a lot of people just waiting. So I guess we're just waiting. That's kind of what we're doing at this point. The time had come. We were all about to enter the building. Now, in my experience, it was hectic. People were all trying to figure out where to go, and I'm pretty sure that I was supposed to grab something before I took my seat. However, since I was a little preoccupied in finding where I was going, my ticket did say floor B, row 2, seat 5, but they all had numbered sections, so I didn't really know where to go. I then asked this worker, and she said, you could head down this way. You can go through here. This led me down a very dark, isolated hallway where I thought I might be kidnapped. I eventually ended up finding my seats. And man, sitting down after standing on my feet for the past 2 hours never felt so good. But remember when I said I was supposed to grab something before I took my seat? Yeah. Apparently we're supposed to grab a box of pizza and a drink, which was going to be used for the world record before we sat down. Okay, so apparently I was in my seat and now I'm out of my seat because we have to go grab our pizza box and a drink because a part of the world record is that we have to do that. So unfortunately, we missed it. So after the rush of people getting their pizza, I was finally able to relax. We basically just did a lot of waiting because we were basically left in the dark for the next hour. So here's everything that happened in that hour. Airrack came on the loudspeakers to explain the world record rules.
Make sure that you do not open those pizza boxes.
This sweet Pablo guy tried hyping up the crowd, It did not work. This was basically 95% of all the people in attendance. So this answers question number 1. The time had hit 6 p.m. This was when the event was supposed to start, but we still had another 30 minutes of waiting. One of Airrack's producers, Drew, came out on stage to tell everyone who wasn't on the floor section and was wanting to participate in the world record would have to move to this section over here. After everyone had settled in and we were done with our waiting, we were shown a 60-second timer on the big screens, which basically resulted in Airrack becoming the second coming of Christ, which meant the event had started.
So let's go! He's here!
Now I was excited to see Airrack. To kick off the show, Airrack brought out Mac and Tyler to give a little presentation of what was the world's largest slice of pizza. Personally, I thought this was a great way to kick off the show. They had Mac and Tyler out in the audience gathering questions from Mafia members. This basically was just a way to kill time before we were actually ready to eat the pizza. In the meantime, we did sing happy birthday to a fella Mafia member.
Happy birthday, dear Leo. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, however, his name's not Liam. It's Luke.
Hey, Luke.
Now, this is the big part of the event. Not only hosting the world's largest pizza party, but also breaking the world record. We were then shown a 15-minute timer on the big screen, which meant that we are not only going to eat 1, but 2 slices of pizza, a 6-inch breadstick, don't ask me how I know that, and 8 ounces of water or soda. Me and my seat neighbor Jesse touched our pizza slices, and we were off to help break a world record. Now, when I say eating this pizza was the hardest thing I've done this year, I'd be lying.
I'm in the trenches.
The pizza was slightly cold after sitting in the box for what I'd assume is 2+ hours of waiting. Yes, a lot of waiting. However, it actually made the pizza a lot easier to eat. I actually finished in about 8 minutes, which is actually longer than I thought, saying that I went on a 5-mile run to the stadium and back to my Airbnb just hours before my arrival.
I'm in the trenches.
Also, to help with the world record process, they had these volunteers wearing these yellow hats that were in charge of about 20 people. Now, from what I heard just days after the event and from people at the after party, it seems unlikely that we are going to break this world record.
This record was just attempted in LA a few days ago and was unsuccessful.
However, it doesn't really matter because there was a earth-shattering 3,357 people at another pizza party in Oklahoma.
Of 3,357.
We had no shot. There was no chance. Even if we did break it, it would have gotten broken just days after. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Airrack, and I think he has one of the strongest communities on the internet. But when you face him against the entire state of Oklahoma, I worry. Now, before the entire event had concluded, there was one more question left unanswered. How good would Young Gravy's performance be? But before the performance, Airrack did some mafia boss type moves. He gave $10,000 to a fan if they won 2 out of 3 challenges: bobbing in marinara sauce, throwing a pizza box into an oven, and the most cheese grated in 60 seconds. He also shared unseen footage from 3 of his videos from his first year on YouTube.
Come on, you scared me fucking
Oh, we gotta go.
What happened?
We gotta go.
Which one of him was him getting stranded on Mr. Beast's island 100 miles away from anyone else? Also, speaking of Mr. Beast, Eric had actually called him because someone in the audience had called Airrack a Mr. Beast copycat.
Did they all get a slice of pizza?
You guys all get a slice of pizza?
Yeah!
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
What a power play that was. But the night was still young. Get it? No, because actually the night was starting to get very old very fast.
So, but Eric, Eric with the eye.
And now Young Gravy is performing.
Young Gravy's performance really wasn't for me. However, I could imagine the casual mom there with her kid getting down to his music. So we may have not broken a world record, but we did get to enjoy what was one of the greatest events in YouTube history. I also did sneak into the after party and get to see what is now the world's largest pizza, but that story is for another video. Subscribe!